Hi, I'm Nate, aka Postmuggalism, and you are watching the June 2022 Lunar Mansion Magic Guide, where I present all the talisman quality Lunar Mansion elections for the month ahead in 4 time zones: PST, EST, CET, and AET, and share interpretations of each mansion and tips on how to work with them. Thanks for watching. I've been getting more feedback on the last couple of videos, and it's been great to hear from you. So please continue to reach out with your thoughts, your questions, and reports on your own workings. If you're new to my channel and you like this content, please consider subscribing so that you get notified when I publish new videos. As always, please remember to click like to let YouTube know that you enjoyed this content so that it gets seen by more people like you. And thank you so much for showing your support. In all the previous videos, I had separate sections for each of the time zones with a list of the viable election for that time zone. This felt a little redundant, so this month I've reversed the approach so that I give an overview of each mansion and then list the elections for that mansion in each of the time zones. And you can jump ahead to each mansion mentioned this month with the links in the table of contents, which are in the description below this video. Please let me know what you think. Drop me a note on Twitter or in the comments below. Now on to the elections. This month's best 4 elections, in my humble opinion, are the 10th Lunar Mansion on June 3rd, Jabhah, which is home to the fixed star Regulus and is associated with bestowing prominence, fame, favor, and healing. The 13th Lunar Mansion on June 6th, Awwa, is known for restoring potency to men, enhancing sexual attraction, and can also be used for growth in other areas as well. On the 16th or 17th, depending on your location, the 24th Lunar Mansion, Asad al-Sud, one of the luckiest mansions, can be used for prosperity, increase, and disrupting competition, and also the government if you happen to need such things. And finally, the last election of the month is a big one. On the 27th or 28th, the 7th Lunar Mansion, Dhira, provides one last opportunity for the month to have all your prayers answered, gain success, and gain favor with authorities. These are the 4 that I'm most excited about this month, but honestly it was pretty hard to choose. There are a lot of good elections in June, so let's go through them one by one. On each of the following slides, I've included not only the times of the elections, but I've also copied quotes from the Picatrix and a book called Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology. And I'll give some takes and tips for each election, but there's a lot more on the slides themselves, so it might be worth clicking pause and giving them a read. The first talisman-worthy election of June is in the 10th Lunar Mansion, Jabhah, which translates to the brow. The royal fixed star Regulus within the constellation Leo calls this mansion home and brings its qualities to bear on its host. It is therefore associated with curing illnesses, gaining prominence and favor, success, and thus also erecting strong buildings, the support of allies, and securing one's victories. The spirit is Ardesiel. The mansion's image is the head of a lion. There are elections for the PST, EST, and CET time zones this month, all of which take place on Friday, the 3rd of June. And in all 3 time zones, the waxing moon in Cancer forms a trine to benefic Jupiter in Aries. All the positive aspects of this mansion will be activated and further boosted by the benefic trine. It's interesting to note the unique instructions from Picatrix Chapter 4, Book 9, describing how to use a talisman made in this mansion for healing. Quoting now, "On whatever day you have suffumigated it, then it shall be carried to the sick or infirm, and wash it with another substance to be consumed against illness, or for women whom have had a difficult birth." The passage just above that one I have quoted here on the slide, and it also mentions this method in the suggested petition. Reading again, "Lift up sadness, slowness, and infirmity from my heart and body, and whomever consumes or drinks liquid in which this seal has been washed." This suggests that you can create talismanically charged liquids by placing a suitable talisman in the liquid. Fascinating stuff. The 11th Lunar Mansion, Zubrah, is one of aggressive victory, of overcoming, with uses like rescuing captives, besieging cities, and so on. Even the petition recommended by the Picatrix is strongly worded, instructing you to say, "Bring glory to me that I shall be feared among men." The image is a man riding a lion, holding a lance in his right hand and holding the ear of the lion with his left hand. In this mansion, it is appropriate to make talismans for victory, for success in business, safe travel, fame and glory, and favor from authorities. Only the EST time zone gets an election for Zubrah this month, featuring the moon in Leo making a sextile to the sun in Gemini in the late afternoon of Saturday, June 4th. By far the horniest lunar mansion, Awwa, the 13th resting place of the moon in the tropical mansion system, translates to the wings, referring to the wings of Virgo, the Virgin. The image is a man desiring to couple with a woman, i.e. with an erect phallus, and its powers include relief from impotence, enhancing sexual attraction, bringing together two people in love, and growing various other things like merchandise, profit, harvests, and so on. Fixed stars and constellations in astrology sums up the mansion's qualities as sow, plant, and take medicine, but do not travel or marry. This suggests that while the image is phallic and therefore focused on the male aspect of sexuality, the qualities of this mansion are feminine in nature. They are the powers of the female Virgin, Virgo, to bring forth arousal. The context of the Picatrix was an intensely patriarchal society, so the focus is on the needs of the man, but the effects are gender non-specific. The Picatrix goes on to say that if a woman shall carry these images with her, she will be most strongly desired by the man whose name is upon the image, which is to say, when he sees her. Again, the gender is irrelevant here, but the effects are worth speculating about. The talisman functions as both a source of arousal and also as something akin to glamour magic. EST and CET time zones have one opportunity each during the late afternoon on Monday, June 6th to create a talisman in this mansion, featuring the waxing moon in Virgo on the midheaven, trine Venus, who is in the 7th house of love and relationships. Therefore, this is an excellent opportunity for a love or glamour talisman, or for relieving impotency if necessary. The 15th lunar mansion, Ghafr, the covering, is confusing because the description in the Picatrix appears to contradict itself exactly by saying that the mansion is good for both bringing together lovers, friends, and allies, and also for driving them apart. It is also helpful for finding treasures and resources underground and the destruction of one's enemies. This is a broadly applicable lunar mansion, but the contradiction is reason for caution. When the Picatrix offers seemingly contradicting takes on a lunar mansion, it's useful to consider the influence of the phase of the moon on how the mansion will express. Some mansions are entirely benefic or entirely malefic and don't change radically based on the phase of the moon, but other mansions that appear to have both positive and negative qualities will express more or less of those qualities according to the current phase of the moon. In June, the moon is waxing in Ghafr, which is in Libra, and it trines the benefic sun as it conjoins the ascendant on Thursday, the 9th of June. Unfortunately, this only occurs in the CET, that is, European time zone. Jubana, the 16th lunar mansion, which translates to the claws, referring to the pincers of Scorpio, is primarily a prosperity mansion in the sense that it's good for business, trade, and profit, but it is also known for more antagonistic qualities like the destruction of the competition's resources, sowing discord between people, and impeding travel. It seems almost like Jubana is a mansion for cutthroat business tactics. The waxing moon will skew the expression of this mansion's energy towards positive outcomes rather than negative ones, and the supporting trines with the sun in EST time zone in the afternoon of the 9th, and with Saturn in the AET time zone in the evening of the 10th, will reinforce this benefic slant. To work with the more aggressive qualities of this mansion, look for opportunities where the moon is waning. The name of the spirit of this mansion is Arousal, and its image is a man seated in a throne and carrying a scale in his hands. The 19th lunar mansion, Shaula, translates to the sting, as in the stinger of Scorpio, and its qualities are suitably violent and destructive. It is associated with sacked cities, the destruction of wealth, driving people away from a place, sinking ships, and breaking alliances. However, the Picatrix describes talismans born under this mansion as being good for bringing on menstruation, and also suggests that you ask the spirit to cause the blood to flow from such and such a woman, and that if a woman keeps the talisman tied about her waist, she will give birth quickly and without danger. Menstruation, in a magical or metaphorical sense, can be connected with blood flow, and thus destruction. And moreover, a loss of potential energy or opportunity represented by the monthly fertility cycle. As a man, I obviously have no idea how this talisman would affect a woman, so I suggest caution with wearing a talisman made during this mansion, as your mileage may vary. PST and EST both have one election each in this mansion on the 12th, and in both cases, the waxing moon in Sagittarius trines Jupiter in Aries. Given that Jupiter is in Aries and we're watching the war-expanding nature of this transit on the world stage, it's safe to say that there's enough aggression in the stars right now to express the destructive tendencies of this mansion. But the generally benefic nature of Jupiter and the waxing phase of the moon suggests that a talisman made under these conditions would be gentle enough for use in the aiding of childbirth and other reproductive functions. More malefic astrology would be better for destruction, but possibly less well suited for use with people. This mansion's spirit is a mutio, and its image is a woman holding her hands before her face. That is, holding her face in her hands as if weeping. There are some unavoidably misogynistic vibes about this mansion from the intensely patriarchal context of the Picatrix. The 20th lunar mansion, Al-Nam, or the Beam, is dedicated to hunting and taming wild beasts, though it is also said to be good for men to come wherever you wish, that is, to compel them. The petition recommended by the Picatrix reads, "Cause me to take all I hunt in the world and let them come to me swiftly." And this suggests that the underlying theme of this mansion is easily finding what or whom you're looking for. The spirit of the mansion is Kiriel, and its image is a figure having the head and arms of a man, the body of a horse with 4 feet, and having a tail, holding a bow in its hands, which is to say, a centaur. The mansion occupies a part of the sky which included Nunki and Acela, the stars in the torso of Sagittarius, a centaur, which is both beast and man, as well as a legendary hunter. Create a talisman to become a Beastmaster on June 12th in PST time zone, or on the 13th in AET time zone, when the waxing moon trines Jupiter in Aries within the 20th lunar mansion. On the 16th or 17th, depending on your time zone, the moon enters the 24th lunar mansion. An almost entirely benefic mansion, Al-Saad also translates fittingly to the luckiest of the lucky, and the Picatrix says that it is for the increase of herds. The mansion's image, a woman with her son in her arms in the likeness of one who is nursing, suggests that this mansion's underlying theme is fertility and growth through nourishment, though clearly with a selfish focus, since the mansion is also capable of destroying the money of allies and preventing an official from fulfilling his duties. The waning moon confuses this mansion's purpose slightly, or perhaps diminishes it some, but in PST and EST time zones, the sextile to Jupiter and or in CET and AET time zones, a trine to Mercury, provide a benefic boost to this already prosperous mansion. The spirit of the 24th lunar mansion is Bethnal. The beginning of the modern tropical lunar mansion system, Al-Sharatain, the 2 signals, is a mansion of beginnings, beginning journeys, taking new medicines, and starting new conflicts in particular. Quoting from Hinckley's Star Names, the mansion's most notable star and namesake, Sharatain, is the pearly white star in the left horn of the ram, signifying the tip of the ram's piercing horn, the point of impact. This is the energy of Al-Sharatain, one of punching through, of getting shit done. The wise of India begin journeys and take medicines when the moon is in this mansion, says the Picatrix in Book 1, Chapter 4, and also that it should be used to sow discord and break up organizations. The talisman, it says in Book 4, Chapter 9, is for destruction, and the petition directs you to ask the spirit to kill someone, which is definitely not recommended, but it does speak to the generally destructive nature of this mansion. It's safe to say that this mansion can be used malefically, but more importantly, there are more productive ways to put the mansion to work in talismans. The point of impact energy this mansion represents can be used to launch projects, overcome obstacles, or gain victory over one's enemies or competition. It's important to wait for benefic astrology with a potentially aggressive mansion like this one. Fortunately, in June, we have 2 opportunities in PST and 1 each in EST and CET in the early morning of the 21st, with the waxing moon conjunct Jupiter. The second of the PST elections and the one in EST also enjoy a sextile to Mercury. The spirit of the first lunar mansion is genial, and its image is a man with his hair wrapped and encircled, standing on his feet, having in his right hand a spear in the manner of a warrior. The fourth lunar mansion, Dabaran, means the follower, referring to it following, perhaps hunting, the Pleiades. It is a violent, malefic mansion, and the waning moon's conjunction to the north node makes this a powerful talisman for doing destructive things. It is known for destruction, creating discord, and sowing ill will. Perhaps more usefully, it is also known for binding reptiles and venomous animals, and the book Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology says that it hinders the flight of creeping things. The mansion spirit is Azariel, and its image is a knight riding on a horse holding a serpent in his right hand. PST and EST time zones have one opportunity each to create a talisman on the 24th, and AET has one on the 25th. Known as Hakah, or the white spot, for their cloudy appearance, the asterism known as Mesa represents the head of the constellation Orion, the giant and mighty hunter who pursues the seven sisters of the Pleiades and their mother Pleione perpetually through the heavens. Despite his obsessive tendencies, Orion is beloved by most of the Olympian gods, which support the dynamic of this benefic mansion associated with prominence, glory, and favor from authorities and the gods. The mansion is known specifically for helping youths to learn arts and occupations, for the safety of travelers, inspiring love between couples, and destroying friendship between two people. The Picatrix describes the talisman for this mansion as ensuring good from kings and high officials, and suggests that it can also be used to bring about revealing dreams, perhaps because of the association with the head. The mansion's image is then fittingly a head without a body, and its spirit is Gabriel. This month, the waning moon in Taurus enters this mansion on Saturday the 25th, and provides one opportunity each in PST and EST time zones in the mid-morning, when the moon conjuncts the midheaven and Venus in Taurus in the 11th house of society, boosting the benefic and social aspects of this mansion. Therefore, this is a strong election for gaining favor from authorities or other important people in one's life. The myth of the twins, Castor and Pollux, provide the inspiration for the qualities of the mansions of Gemini, beginning with Hana, which translates to a mark or a brand, indicating their placement as the brand on the neck of the massive ancient wayfinding constellation known as the Camel. The Camel was primarily an Arabic constellation and doesn't relate to the mythology of the Greek constellations, which were adopted by the Arabs after the spread of Greco-Egyptian magico-religious traditions in the wake of Alexander the Great's transcontinental conquests. Castor and Pollux were inseparable twins and heroes of Greek myth, even participating in the most epic of Greek quests, the search for the Golden Fleece, as members of Jason's crew, the Argonauts. Their brotherly love and their individual characteristics are obviously the basis of the qualities of Hana. The mansion is associated primarily with causing friendship and love, but also the betrayal of kings, successful hunting, and the conquering of cities, actions which the brothers are well known for in their myths. The spirit of the mansion is Dhira, and its image is two people embracing, and the Picatrix instructs that two images are to be made and then bound together facing each other as if in an embrace. The 26th or 27th, depending on your time zone, provides elections throughout the world while the moon rests in Hana in the month of June. 2 elections are available in PST, and 1 each in EST, CET, and AET. The waning moon conjuncts Mercury, powerfully boosted by its domicile in Gemini, in all of these opportunities. And in the first PST election, and the one in CET, there's also a supporting sextile with Jupiter in hard-charging Aries. The final election of the month is in the exceptionally benefic 7th lunar mansion, Dhira, aka the forearm, or foreleg, named for its placement in the ancient lion, not Leo, which was a massive Arabic constellation unrelated to the mythology of the lunar mansion system, yet still referenced as a way to locate its degrees of the sky in ancient times with the naked eye. The mansion's qualities are inspired by the myth of the immortal Pollux, twin brother of the mortal Castor. The brothers were conceived of the same mother, but different fathers on the same night. Castor was the son of King Tyndareus of Sparta, and his brother the son of Zeus, who seduced or raped their mother Leda. Long after their days as Argonauts, the bold and somewhat devious brothers' many adventures culminated in a conflict with 2 other Argonauts over stolen cattle, resulting in the death of Castor at the point of a sword. In his intense grief, Pollux avenged his brother and prayed ceaselessly to their patron god Zeus to restore his brother's life. Zeus took pity on Pollux and offered him the option to share his immortality with Castor, trading off days on Earth as a living mortal and days in the underworld as a shade. Eventually, the 2 brothers were immortalized in the stars as the constellation Gemini. The answered prayers of Pollux are the heart of the mansion Aldira's especially benefic qualities. It is good for increasing merchandise and profit, to cause friendship, and to enter the presence of kings and high officials, as well as a few other activities which also make appearances in the myth of the twins. The mansion's image is a man clothed in robes and with his hands extended to heaven in the manner of a man who is praying and supplicating, as Pollux prayed for his brother's life. And the Picatrix says that talismans made in this mansion are for attracting all good things. It's my take, therefore, that this mansion is for having one's prayers answered. The moon is waning in Gemini as it passes through this mansion on the 27th and 28th of June. During the early election in PST, the moon trines Mercury in its domicile in Gemini, and the latter election adds a sextile to active Mars. EST time zone's late morning election features a trine to Saturn, as does the AET time zone's election on the 28th, which additionally features a bonus sextile with Mars. The spirit of the 7th lunar mansion is Shaula. Every month, I include a small list of useful resources at the end of this guide for anyone who's new to lunar mansions or to this video series. If you are a first-timer, I highly recommend reviewing my quick start guide to lunar mansions, which covers all the details you'll need to start performing your own rituals. As always, a link to this presentation, as well as all of my notes on the mansion elections for the month, including the ones that don't make the cut for this video, are provided in the description below this video. This concludes the June 2022 Lunar Mansion Magic Guide. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that some of these elections are interesting to you and that you've learned a little bit more about the mansions featured this month. If you like the new format, please let me know. And of course, please click like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate all of the positive feedback I got on last month's video, and I'm excited to hear what you think about the new format. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.